You're listening to Podketeers.
Welcome to episode 441 of Podketeers. This week we talk about whether one of us got a 3D printer on Black Friday. We give our thoughts on Netflix's newest series, Wednesday, the new film Disenchanted on Disney+, Dreamlight Valley's Golden Potato and the quest to become the Pumpkin King, plus Bob Iger addresses cast members about the direction of the company now that he's back. We'd love for you to join the conversation over on our social networks, including Instagram and Facebook, but we invite you to join us over on Discord. Joining the community is super simple. Just head on over to podketeers.com/links and click on the Discord button to join the community. A very special thank you goes out to an awesome group of people known as the FGP Squad, our podcast Fairy Godparents, because it's their support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. As part of the FGP Squad family, you get some additional perks like exclusive discount codes for Podketeers gear, additional content like the Podketeers After Show, and access to our happy hour calls, just to name a few. For more information on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, we invite you to check out podketeers.com/FGP. And as always, a super special thank you goes out to the FGP Squad for their continued support. Alright, so that's going to wrap up the intro. It's time to jump into the podcast. If this is your first time hanging out with us, welcome. We hope that you enjoy the episode and that you come back for more. And of course, if you've been hanging with us for a while now, welcome back, friends. Here is episode 441 of Podketeers.
Goes a little bit something like this. I don't know.
Hit it! It takes two to make the thing go right!
It's copyright strike right at the beginning.
Yep.
We just love it. Music is fun. Hey, guess what? Music is good. Did you know that?
Music is fun.
Great. Not good.
Yeah.
It's soothing. It's fun. It's energetic. It's angry.
Yeah.
It's somber. Any emotion can be attached to music.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And then you have music, and then you can look like a fool when you're in a car and flailing around, your arms all around like you're drumming, and then nobody knows what you're doing in the car next to you.
have you ever done that?
I'm Neil Peart in the in the driver's seat. Yeah.
Have you ever
I love
done
air
that
drumming.
but not been playing music? And then slowly open your window and just reveal that you're doing it without music?
I have not done that, no.
So if you think the looks that you get when the windows are closed and people think that you're drumming to a song, like if you think those looks are crazy, lower your window slowly and continue doing it with no music, and they will look at you like you are the weirdest thing they've ever seen in life.
That's no different than the looks I normally get, but it would be fun to see them anyway.
Well, try it out. Let me know.
Okay. Yeah, I don't sit too much in traffic very often, so,
Red lights, man.
Yeah.
There we go.
Red
Perfect
lights.
red lights.
Green
I have
light.
to remember.
Red light.
Simon says, stop.
Right. Cool. So it's been
Yes, I
a
am.
busy
Thank you
week.
very much. Oh.
We know you are.
Oh, thanks.
We know you are.
Yes, it's been a busy week.
So it's been a crazy busy week. I'm tired right now. We're recording late, as
Sleepy.
almost usual,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
And I feel like I really need a cheeseburger right now because it's been a while since I last ate, and so
Hamburguesa.
I'm at the point where, like, really anything will help my hunger, but as I opened up my web browser, McDonald's was flashing, like, you know how they're really pushing the quarter pounder right now? It's like, it's a QPC, blah, blah, blah right now. I don't know where this QPC, like, marketing campaign came from, but they've been pushing it hard. And I opened up the web browser. Huh?
I was gonna say, isn't that the place that you buy like stuff on TV, and like the lady's like,
Yeah,
If
QPC.
you order now,
exactly.
you'll also throw in a set of steak knives.
Yes.
To cut
4
your
easy
hamburger.
payments of
easy
$19.95 for
payments.
your hamburger. Exactly.
But anyway, you opened up your browser.
So I opened up my web browser, and it's almost like, you know how we're always like, oh, your devices are listening to you,
Mhm.
and we get targeted ads?
Yep.
I'm almost positive my browser heard my stomach grumbling, because what a coincidence that my browser decided to show me a hamburger when it knows that I'm hungry. Conspiracy? Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It's a mystery. See?
Heyzen's loving it.
I am loving it. You know what I would love even more, though? A QPC.
Like
McDonald's, send me a QPC. You can sponsor the podcast.
That's all we need. Just
Just one.
one $8 value meal. Don't even have to be large or anything. Unsweet
Yeah.
tea, French fries, no onions. I don't know. Is
You
that
know,
how
I
you,
had
is that
yeah,
how
I
you
know.
take your burger? I don't
kind
know.
of. So this is going to sound really sad to some people, but I feel like I've gotten to know some of the fast food restaurants in our area well enough to know where they make certain things a little better than in other places.
Mhm.
And theoretically speaking, because McDonald's is a franchise, every burger that you buy, regardless of the country, the state, the city, whatever, it's all supposed to be exactly the same, right?
Mhm.
A Big Mac should be a Big Mac. A Quarter Pounder should be a Quarter Pounder. But I've noticed that whatever they do to the onions before in some places, like the onions taste like super oniony in some places. Like they're not dipped in water, they're not like rinsed or whatever the case is. So they're a lot more like pungent, and I can't stand them in the Quarter
Mhm.
Pounder. So in some locations, what I will do is I will substitute the slivered onions for the dehydrated onions that they put in the little cheeseburgers,
Uh-huh.
or I will dress my Quarter Pounder as a Big Mac. And so they'll add all the stuff for the Big Mac, but now you have this burger that tastes like a Big Mac, but it's got like these two giant pieces of like patty inside versus the whatever tiny flat cardboard is inside of the Big Mac. And then in the ones that I know do a good job with the Quarter Pounder, I'll leave the slivered onions, because in those locations they also seem to add salt and pepper a little bit more sparingly, and it just helps the burger taste better.
Yeah.
So I know that sounds sad to some people, but I like a Quarter Pounder.
Quarter
It's my
Pounder is
favorite
my
thing to
go-to
get.
at McDonald's.
Yeah,
That's double
that is my
Quarter
go-to.
Pounder with cheese.
Yeah.
See, I'm a plain guy. I do plain meat, cheese, bun. That
Okay.
boom.
Okay.
Yeah, he does.
Plain. I'm the plainest person you'll ever meet. It's ridiculous.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
No
I mean,
green in this diet.
well, that's the beauty of the QPC
Yeah,
or the
not
DQPC. That there is no green in that burger.
No, there are pickles on there. That's green.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that, but yeah, I guess the pickles. I mean, I like the pickles in that burger, so it's all good. I mean, I don't really
There you go.
care about it, but I don't know if I've had this conversation with you before, because I don't think we've ever gone to McDonald's together. But
I don't think
what
so.
do you dip your fries in?
So most of the 90% of the time I eat my fries plain.
Okay.
If I'm feeling saucy, I will get hot mustard.
Oh,
Oh.
interesting. I've never had it with hot mustard before.
Hot mustard. My dad was the one that introduced me to hot mustard when I was a kid, and that's the only sauce that I'll get if I get nuggets. It's hot mustard, and most people don't even know
Nuggets I
that
like with
McDonald's
hot
has
mustard.
hot mustard.
I didn't
Like,
know
some
you
people didn't-
ate hot mustard. I'm like, what?
At McDonald's, I do.
Wow.
I mean, it's not hot like spicy.
It's like tangy
jalapeno.
mustard.
But
It's
that's
tangy.
like-
yeah,
It's
Yeah,
spicy.
that's adventurous for me.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hot mustard. But yeah,
Interesting.
hot mustard and fries is pretty good. But most other places I'll do, like I'm a fry connoisseur. I eat a lot of hamburgers and fries. So we could talk about this all day. So like Red Robin, you got to get the ranch because that's like their like thing if you go to
Oh,
Red
yeah.
Robin. is
Do you
ranch.
get the garlic fries at Red Robin though?
I just get the regular fries.
Oh no,
because
dude!
because I love the ranch. Like I mostly the fries is a conveyance vehicle for ranch.
I love that they have the fact that they have bottomless fries at Red Robin is like the best, and the fact that they do like the garlic fries with the ranch, like.
I mean, you can also get bottomless broccoli, but who wants that, right? Like
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, no.
Nobody wants
Nobody
bottomless broccoli.
Those little trees.
Yeah.
Ooh, lots
Eat your
of
vegetables,
I'm trying to
kids.
yeah, kids eat the vegetables. Don't act like us. I'm trying to think of other
Wendy's
places.
got to dip it in the Frosty, right?
Wendy's, I get a baked potato.
What?
Yeah, baked potato instead of fries at Wendy's.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. How do you like your In-N-Out fries?
Animal fries, no grilled onion, because I don't like onion. So
Oh,
it's basically
okay.
the cheese in the spread.
Still good.
Yeah. So I've gotten them a couple different ways recently. Normally, animal style was the way that I did them.
Yeah.
But the two In-N-Outs closest to me, unless I specifically tell them go easy on the spread, it's basically like the fries are swimming in spread, and I don't like that. So I'll normally, if I'm going to an In-N-Out where I know that they're like moderately adding the sauce, I'll get them animal style, but I always add chopped chilies. And then if it's one of the closer In-N-Outs, I'll just do cheese, grilled onions, and chopped chilies.
And then get a packet of spread, because you can
No.
do that. Did you know you can do that?
You
Okay.
could.
Yeah, my wife does that a lot. Like she normally will get the fries plain, and then she'll dip it in the spread.
Yeah. See, my In-N-Out, like I like go to like 3 different ones because there's a bunch around. Like there's so many near me. Every single one, they put like 1 dot of spread on it. And it's like
How
I always
dare
have
they.
to get more because you eat it and
Cheapskates.
it's like the whole bottom is just dry fries. And I'm like, their fries are fine, but
No.
Oh, I also have to get them well done. Sorry, I didn't mention that.
I
also
do
have
I'm
to-
fine with regular.
Yeah, I have to get them well done. All right, so
fries
before we
connoisseur.
continue with more fries, let's backtrack because I wanted to ask Mel this too.
Hmm.
Mel, what do you dip your McDonald's fries in?
A mix of ketchup and mustard, because
Okay,
I'm weird.
Okay. I mean, I like that. I've had that before. Normally, when I'll go to like a Ruby's style diner, like an old school diner, for some reason those big thick fries or like what
Steak
you know
fries
the
or
Jim's
crinkly
burgers,
fries,
like
yeah.
the big chunky fries, like those I like to dip in like ketchup mustard. McDonald's specifically though, I love to dip them in their barbecue sauce. There's like
Oh, yes,
something
that's
about their
true.
barbecue sauce that just like
It's like,
it's weird to say, but it's comfort food.
It
for
is.
me
It is.
when I eat the McDonald's fries with their barbecue sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody talks about Burger King fries, but Burger King fries are kind of crunchy, and I
Yeah.
kind of like that in the fry.
So Burger
but-
King fries weird me out. It's like what Burger King fries feel like to me is they took a casing of French fry and filled it with
And-
mashed potato inside.
with mashed potatoes,
Like-
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I was gonna say that it feels crunchy on the outside,
But mushy.
but on the inside it just feels like a mushy mashed potato. Like it feels weird. So nobody talks about Burger King French
No.
fries. Those are just kind of out. Wendy's. Are you Frosty Dipper or are you just also fries and mustard at Wendy's, or do you just not eat at Wendy's?
I don't really eat much at Wendy's. I don't.
I've been mad since they changed their fries, which was like 10 years ago when they went to like the natural cut fries, because I used to like Wendy's fries a lot, and then they went to the natural cut fries, and I've not liked them since.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, and then In-N-Out. How do you like your In-N-Out fries?
Oh, animal style spread all over. Give me the onions, everything. I want
Nice.
everything.
Nice.
Wet fries.
Yes.
Nice. If I could find a way for them to also mustard grill the fries, I would love that so much, because
I've
every
never
time
had
that I get the
before
burger
on the burger.
Oh, dude, it's the burgers that I make now at home. The majority of them are mustard grilled because of how much I like the ones at In-N-Out.
I'm gonna have to try it. I like mustard halfway decent, so I might give it a
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
Crinkle cut is a favorite of mine too. If you get a crinkle cut in there, Those are good. Like Del Taco has
Oh
the crinkly,
yeah, those are
Oh,
good.
crinkle
hey,
cut
Del
fry.
Taco fries are actually
They're
really
good.
Del Taco fries are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't knock them.
I mean, I don't like their tacos. Like, they should be
No.
like Del fries instead.
Mhm.
Because their fries are way better than their tacos.
Agreed.
And see, Carl's Jr. I always get the waffle fries. They've changed them. They used to call them crisp cut fries, and now they call them waffle fries for some reason. I don't know why. They must have, lost the deal with the crisp cut company or something. I don't know.
How dare they?
How dare they?
Those are good. Yeah, I will agree.
Arby's got curly fries.
Oh,
I eat a lot
you
of
know what?
fries.
I haven't eaten at an Arby's in like 15 years because we used to have
But
an
they
Arby's
have the
a block
meat.
away from where I used to work. I know, but every time that I ate there, regardless of what I ate, I always got sick.
Oh.
And so we had them like super close. They were like like walking distance from the place that I used to work at.
Mhm.
And so it was horrible because like 4 blocks away from where we work, we had Randy's Donuts, and then like a block and a half away, we had like Arby's. So the Randy's Donuts and the Arby's got us in trouble a lot that year. So yeah, but I haven't eaten at Arby's. The crisp cut fry. Oh, you know who has decent curly fries too? Is Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box has, curly
Don't like their
too.
fries, but the curly
After
fries
9
are
o'clock,
decent.
yes.
With the munchie meals, or what do they
You
have?
can
Yes.
only eat Jack in the Box in the middle of the night.
Dude,
Right?
maybe that's
After
what I
Disney?
need to eat when we're done. Maybe I need a munchie meal.
Munchie meal. Let's see, where else? Wiener Schnitzel, chili fries. You got to get the chili fries. Actually, when I went
them from there.
at Del Taco, I get the chili fries as well. I like chili fries. See,
Oh.
I like fries. Fries are good.
Yeah, I always love getting chili fries when they're like the big, thick cut steak fries,
Yeah, like the
from
steak
like the
fries.
Jim's Burgers or like the
Mhm.
Mom and Pop Golden Ox or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Like those are usually the places I like to get chili cheese fries at. Like anything else just feels like I need to order 17 of them to feel like I ate. Like the shoestring fries at Wiener Schnitzel will not hold me over. But
Since now we've talked about 15 minutes on French fries.
I know our phones
Next
are going
week
to
on
just
Fry
show French
Talk.
fries and stuff. It's like, here's an
oh, I
ad.
didn't even think about that. We're so screwed. If it brings up a coupon, I'm cool with it.
Right?
If it doesn't, then how dare you listen in on my conversation, you damn device. Hey, so I have some bad news.
Oh, no.
I want to quickly shift because, we're recording this after Thanksgiving. Black Friday happened, Cyber Monday happened, and like Cyber Week or whatever they call it, right?
Right.
I didn't get a 3D printer.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah.
I didn't get a 3D printer.
Well, that sounds like I think you have time still. It's Cyber Week, my man.
But the sales aren't as good as I thought they were gonna be.
This is true.
Yeah.
The Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals, not as good. Not as like they're not hitting them as hard as they used to. Which is probably a combination of things. But there used to be like, I'm glad that they're not having the stores open on Thanksgiving.
True.
And so
Yes.
people
I
are
do
you're
agree
not
with that.
having to like work on Thanksgiving and stuff like that. But I do miss the like, all right, we have like you go to Target and Walmart and wherever, and they have just bins in the middle of the aisles, and there's all a bunch of stuff, and it's just like a bunch of cheap crap, and it's like, but I want it all. They didn't really have any of that anymore. Like they didn't have much. They had like 4 bins or something because I went shopping on Black Friday with my wife and my mom, and we just like the best place we went was Old Navy, and it was just because the whole store was there's like okay, whole store 20% off or whatever it was. But other than that, yeah, it wasn't as good a Black Friday as you're saying. The deals aren't there as like hard and heavy as they used to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, items used to be like up to 70. Like you would get really good deals, but times have changed, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, with so many like companies moving to online sales and Amazon dominating, sales for these types of like events, plus they have like Prime Day. Prime Day has had some pretty decent deals where it's been like Black Friday and it's been Cyber Monday, which is really the point, right? That's what they're trying to do. But by the time that you purchase on Prime Day or Prime Day 1 or Prime Day 2, since they have one in the spring and they have one like later in the year as well, like if you were looking for a TV, for instance, like Black Friday deals were always like great for TVs and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you get it on Prime Day and it's delivered to you, you don't have to go anywhere. It's undercutting all of the other companies, obviously, that would have, like, there's no trampling. You don't have to get up early. You don't have to camp out. Because we used to do that, too. Like, when we were, like, younger, like, we used to camp out and, you know, get the latest video games, get whatever, like, you know, see if you were one of the 3 people that got one of the $10 60-inch TVs that they had at Best Buy.
Oh my gosh,
you
yeah.
know? So, like, a lot of the sport of it all, you know, isn't really there, like, for me anymore because everything's so easily accessible online. I'm probably part of the problem, and I acknowledge that. But, I mean, it gets cold. Right? And I could stay at home and buy so much more.
Exactly. Be at home. I don't have to get, you know, changed. Don't have to put on shoes.
I don't have to put pants on.
Don't have to put on pants. I could do it all from the comfort of my toilet if I wanted to.
I was going to say,
well,
you don't have to worry about a bathroom.
Okay. That's
in the
true.
hot tub. Whatever. If you got one. Whatever, you know.
I wish I had a hot tub.
Yeah, I don't have a hot tub either.
Same.
Somebody out there's got to have a hot tub. At least one listener has a hot tub.
And if you have one, you can place your orders from there.
Yeah, and then you can invite us over and we can have a hot tub party.
Ooh. What if it's a time machine, though?
Oh.
Yeah, well, that'd be even better. Let's record the podcast from a hot tub one time. Let's do that.
The entire time you hear...
It's like...
Oh, geez, that would be fun.
I'm sure everybody just heard that and they're like, yep, that's going off. Yep, no more. You lost
skip 15
You lost
seconds.
speaker
Skip
privileges
15
this
seconds.
week, sir. So yeah, sadly, Black Friday did not have... I mean, you know, I feel like it was one of the first Black Fridays that I wasn't actively looking for anything. It was just kind of one of those, like, if they have something cool, like, maybe I'll get it. But I wasn't actively looking for anything. Surprise, surprise, there were some decks of cards that were released, you know, limited edition Black Friday stuff that, you know, was only available on Friday. So I picked up some of that stuff. Picked up a couple gifts for the kids for Christmas, but outside of that, I don't think, other than the 3D printer, like legit talk, I was actively looking for a decent price for a 3D printer because I went as far as trying to clear an area in my office to place this 3D printer so that we can, you know, print some cool stuff to give away. And
I'm gonna come up with a ceiling mount thing that telescopes down so you have a 3D
I've
printer
seen that
table.
on TikTok. Like, I don't know if you're kidding, but I saw somebody mount their 3D printer to their ceiling, and that's how they print.
You know what? It's, you know, great minds think alike is all I have to say.
And
I've
if
not
anyone
seen this
could do
before,
it,
but-
it's you.
Yeah. If any of us can do it, it's gonna be you.
Yeah.
Well,
So
the thing
I'll
is
buy
we
the
need to get
printer.
the 3D printer to print the parts to make the mount to hang it on the ceiling.
Ironically, yes, that is true. But that's a short-term problem.
Yes, exactly. You can put it on the kitchen table for a week to
That's
print
a
the parts.
short-term problem. So yeah, it wasn't a big Black Friday, but it's cool. I mean, over the weekend, I did have, you know, the weekend off, so it was a nice long weekend from work. Got a chance to catch up on some TV stuff. We were watching Wednesday on Netflix. Have either of you had an opportunity to catch that yet?
I haven't. No, I'm excited to watch it though. I've been too busy. It's winter time's my busy time, so I've not been able to watch anything yet. But I'm excited to see it.
So story time.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Mel and her
Bundled in.
husband decided, oh, you know what? We're going to cut down. We don't need Netflix right now. Kind of forgot that Wednesday existed and Now I have to look for a certain way to watch this show. So big mistake on my part.
We'll talk after the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You know, the thing about Netflix is that it's gotten more and more expensive. And like for us, I feel like we kind of live in Disney Plus like 80% of the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other time, I haven't really been on Netflix. I've been like on Peacock and HBO Max, like watching other stuff on there. So cutting Netflix isn't something that's like, it's been something that we've thought about as well, right? Because we're not really like watching stuff on there. But I remembered Wednesday was on, and I have to tell you, I didn't know what to expect, right? Tim Burton directed it, you know, and, you know, I didn't know if it was going to be like Beetlejuicy funny, or if it was going to be like, I don't know if there was going to be songs like Nightmare Before Christmas, or like, I didn't know what to expect, right?
Yeah.
And one, if you go into this show expecting it to be the movie Addams Family, or like if you're a big fan of the TV show, you're going to be disappointed. Like, you cannot go into this show expecting it to be the movie, because it's a very different tone. I think part of the reason that I've enjoyed the show so much, like I will say that, like, I've actually really enjoyed it. I think I need like 1 or 2 more episodes to finish the entire like season that they put out. But I think one of the reasons that I've enjoyed it is because growing up, I may have talked about this on the podcast. Like, I'm a huge like fan of like mystery stuff. And so I love reading Sherlock Holmes. I love reading like Encyclopedia Brown, you know, the Hardy Boys mysteries. Like, I grew up on a lot of books that had to do with solving mysteries and mysterious items and, you know, things that go bump in the night sort of situations, right? And this show, the best way that I can describe it is it's kind of if Veronica Mars met Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Nice.
Interesting.
Okay.
But it's Wednesday. That's the best way that I can describe it. Like, it's obviously it's all her point of view. You know, she's off at school doing her thing. But the entire premise of the show is, without giving stuff away, like, the best way I can describe it is that Veronica Mars meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And so if you're if you're a fan of either one of those shows and you go into this understanding that this is not like da-na-na-na, you know, it's not Addams Family, it's not Addams Family Values, it's not the TV show, I think you'll enjoy it.
Nice.
And I think you'll enjoy it even more if you're a fan of like all the CW shows. Like, all the CW shows are kind of the same. Like Riverdale, Supernatural, Nancy Drew, like
Sabrina.
all of those.
Okay, so
like
I'm not
Sabrina.
gonna like it then.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I think you might.
I was mad about Riverdale. I was like, all right, here we go. Because it was kind of like the first one. They're like, okay, it's an Archie show. I'm like, okay, Archie, comics, da-da-da-da-da. There's been a murder in Riverdale. And I'm like,
was it Jughead?
Yeah.
Did you like Sabrina? The Chilling Adventures
I didn't
of Sabrina?
I like Sabrina the Teenage Witch with Melissa Joan
I like them
Hart.
both. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the other one.
Did you like Veronica Mars?
I never watched Veronica Mars.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Did you watch Supernatural?
I've seen some Supernatural, but I've not watched it regularly.
Did you enjoy those episodes you watched?
They're all right.
Okay. Did you ever watch Buffy?
No.
Okay. Well, I got nothing for you then.
That's okay. I'm still gonna check it out. Like, I'm not knocking it based on those things, because the casting looks great. You know, it's getting good reviews.
Oh yeah.
I've not heard anything that's like, where Riverdale people were confused about, just like me. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Well,
this doesn't seem to be the same issue. So I'm
well,
excited to check it out.
I will say that I have had conversations with people where they thought what you thought about Riverdale about Wednesday. That's why I'm
okay.
saying that if you're going into this expecting it to be the film or the TV show, it
Yeah.
is not that. Like it
Well,
is,
yeah.
it's totally like its own like genre of Addams Family. Like if we got a few seasons of this and it didn't get super watered down, like I'd be happy with this. Like it's
Yeah.
been fun so far.
My biggest connection to Addams Family is actually the musical.
Oh,
Which is a lot more based on the comic strip. A lot of people don't realize Addams Family started as a comic strip, like a newspaper comic, and so that's where like a lot of the characters are based on. And I think the Tim Burton character is actually a little more true to the comic character versions of the family versus the television show or the movie, especially when it comes to Gomez. Like if you look at the early, like the comic version of Gomez, he's not this like Rico Suave, like I think it's the second time I've said that in this. No, I said that earlier before we were talking, but like
you said it about the French fries
like,
earlier.
Yeah, Zorro kind of like man about town, whatever you want to call Gomez in like the movies and stuff. He's like this like really short, stocky guy with like a weird haircut and like a little thin mustache. Like that in the comic, that's how he's drawn. And so when they kind of the TV show and the movies, they made him this like like Zorro guy or something. I don't know how to explain it, but you know who he is in the movie. It's that kind of thing. And now it's Luis Guzman, I believe, right in the show.
Yeah.
And I like that casting, and I like the Fred Armisen casting, and everybody else. Like the casting seems great, so I'm excited to see just the actors I like in general. So I'm excited to watch that and see how they all work together.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the overall, I think people are going to find stuff to criticize about it. I went into it with I don't want to say low expectations because I was kind of hyped about it. Like when they first announced it, I was kind of hyped about the fact that we were getting this thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I went in, maybe low expectations is not the right phrase for this. I went into it with an open mind, I'll say.
There you go.
I went in with an open mind, yeah.
All right.
Because I know that every time that they've done reboots like this, every time that they've tried to bring something and give it a little twist, that it doesn't always click, right? But I think they've done a good job with this so far. Jenna Ortega nails the role of Wednesday Addams. Like, nice. I remember watching Jenna Ortega when she was on a show called Stuck in the Middle. Like, you guys know, I'm a sucker for those TV sitcoms, right? Like, I love family TV sitcoms, and Stuck in the Middle was just another funny TV sitcom that was on Disney Channel. And it was funny because day or two ago, Sunday, I think, Disney Plus released a meme of Jenna Ortega. I forgot that she said this on the show, but when Disney Plus, posted this on their TikTok, it said, like, they posted a clip of Jenna saying, if all of the kids in our household were days of the week, I'm the Wednesday. And so the caption just said something like, congratulations to our Wednesday or our middle child or something like that. Like, I forgot what the caption said. But I thought, like, oh, sneaky. What a great way to, sneak in the fact that she was on your service first.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
But Stuck in the Middle, I liked it. I never saw it on Disney Channel when it was on because we cut the cord like years ago. But Disney Plus had it. And so whenever we were having family time, like, we always choose like one sitcom and then try to get through the whole thing. And so one of the boys chose this one, just like, he's like, oh, this kind of looks interesting. And we started watching it, and we actually enjoyed it. So if you're into TV sitcoms, Stuck in the Middle on Disney Plus. Featuring Jenna Ortega, Wednesday Addams. It's a fun watch. Hey, speaking of Disney Plus, the Disenchanted.
Yeah.
It's the sequel to Enchanted with Amy Adams, bringing in Maya Rudolph this time around. Have either of you had an opportunity to watch this?
Not yet.
Yeah. I was able to see it. I hadn't seen Enchanted, so I had to watch Enchanted first before I watched
okay.
Good start.
Disenchanted. So I watched Enchanted, and then the next day watched Disenchanted.
So what did you think? Well, let's start with Enchanted, since you had never seen it before. What did you think of Enchanted, and what did you think of the sequel?
Enchanted, good movie. I don't know why I hadn't seen it before. Just kind of like fell by the wayside. Didn't have, whatever at the time. I didn't see it. Good movie. Yeah, I'm a fan. I do like the mix of animation and live action, and I do like how they did that as opposed to trying to do like the Roger Rabbit route where, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, where there's like, now this is just the cartoon land, and then when you come to the real world or whatever you want to call it, you're just like a person, like not animated person. So that was fun. The pigeons and the rats and the cockroaches and stuff when she's singing "Clean Up the Apartment." That's funny. So yeah, first movie, good movie. Second movie, a good movie. I think I've just watched the first one, so haven't sat with it for a long time, but I think it's a faithful sequel. The first movie kind of was kind of like subverting all of those tropes of princess movies and kind of like poking at them with, oh, this happened and this thing happened and da-da-da-da. And this kind of then flips that a whole, like, another time, like, to a third side of, well, I missed this, so we're gonna have our fairy tale thing, and the way, I don't want to spoil it for Melissa and anybody that hasn't seen it yet, but just how they get into it and the beats of it and everything, and her wrestling with different things, I do think is a good turn from the original. I will say there was a not so subtle, but if you don't know what it is, then you wouldn't get it, multi-plane camera joke in the like visual gag in the film, the opening, like the very opening of the thing. I thought it was the funniest thing. This like is this won't spoil anything, but it's the multi-plane camera has like 6 or 8 planes that it can go through. This was like 30. And it was just like kept going hill over hill over hill, and then we did some more, went under a bridge and more hill. And I thought that was very funny.
Yeah. They did a great job with the opening for that film.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Pip, standout character in the film. Pip is a cat. Pip is a
chipmunk.
All great. So yeah, I had a good time watching Disenchanted. I did notice that you know what? Heyzen, you tell me, because you saw it as well, right?
Yeah, we had.
So you talk about it first, and then I'll talk about the other thing I was going to talk about before. So you go.
I mean, I agree with you. I think I have to admit that there was a part of me that was a little worried about this because I didn't watch Enchanted right before this one, so I did have to sit with the other one, or I did sit with the other one for, however long it was since we last saw it. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, but my favorite part of the first one is Carrie Underwood. Anyhow, so when this one came around, there was a part of me that was a little worried as how they were going to take the story and use the title to really talk about or tell the story of what was going to go on in this one. And I was kind of surprised. I was expecting something ridiculously cheesy. I was expecting something that was going to be like over the top, 100% geared towards children. And I mean, honestly, I think between Amy Adams and Maya Rudolph, I think they played so well off of each other that it was difficult to take the film as just a kids movie. Like they just work so well together that I really enjoyed this film. Like this one is one that I hate to say I kind of had some low expectations for, because I've seen what they've done with some of the other sequels, but I wasn't mad at this one. Like if I feel like I don't think. This is gonna sound. This might sound bad. I don't think this would have done super duper well in the theaters. Like, I don't see this as a theatrical release that's like, oh my god, it's gonna make hundreds and millions of thousands of bajillions of dollars. But this is a solid DCOM.
Okay.
Right? Like, it was. I hate to list it like that because I feel like it's in the middle. Right? It's not like full DCOM. It's not theatrical release, but it hit in so many of the right spots that if you enjoyed the first one, you're gonna enjoy this one as well. It's a good movie.
Okay,
it's
sounds promising.
It doesn't deserve. So I've been going on Rotten Tomatoes a lot because we've been talking about Strange World and everything, and this movie has such a poor score on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it is very undeserved. It has a 38% from critics.
No way!
Yeah, and a 55% from audiences. So it has a horrible rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's not where you necessarily get your movie news and whatever, and everybody's movies opinions are different. What clicks for them, but I don't think that this movie deserves a 38.
Yeah, that's way too low.
It was. I mean, you got Alan Tudyk in there as a talking piece of paper.
That was fun.
It's got and you have. I mean, it's got a great cast, and I think the story is inventive. Maybe not as much as the original one because it was something that hadn't been done before in Enchanted. But this, I think, is a good continuation of the story, and maybe people just didn't want a continuation of the story. I don't know, but
you said something that I think also applies to the second one, though. You said that the first one hadn't been done before. I think that the way that they tell this story also hasn't been done before.
I agree. That I just I don't know every movie that ever exists and stuff like that, so I'm not sure. But this is something that I think it's inventive on where the story turns go and where it ends up. It all some of it was predictable, but it's a children's movie. Right. At the end of the day, so they're not supposed to be some highbrow M. Night Shyamalan twist ending or whatever. Like, it's a kids movie that's supposed to be fun. The only criticism I might have is it does feel a little like they had too many characters. If you compare it to like the first movie. But I mean, even maybe not so, because the first movie you had Giselle and the Prince. I don't remember all these people's names. So you had her and the Prince, and then you had Robert and Adele Dazeem, and then you had the daughter, and you had the queen, and you had the footman guy or whatever, her little lackey. So that's 7 people. And
8,
in this you have
2.
She had 2?
She had 2, yeah.
2 guys?
No, Maya Rudolph's character had 2 lackeys.
Well, no, so that was 7 in Enchanted.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, right.
So in this movie, you have all of them, but take the queen and the little footman guy away, and you kind of replace that with Maya Rudolph, and then her 2 lackeys, and then from there. I don't know. It just seems like everybody had more stuff to do, so you saw less of the main cast. It was like a lot of stories broken up. If I had a criticism of it, I don't think that's too big of a thing. But the whole Prince and Adele Dazeem, their whole kind of storyline. They kind of came in and did their little thing and felt a little forced, if I had to say, anything, but I still liked the whole thing. I thought their song was funny, and everything. So and a little cringy, but on purpose. So
yeah, I feel like it was on purpose cringy. Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of cringy, like on purpose stuff, because a lot of this is from the perspective of the teenage daughter, and so that's kind of the lens that you want to view it through, in my opinion. So I don't think the movie deserves its low score. I wonder what other listeners think on what this, if they've seen it, what they think of it. I'm excited to see what Melissa's gonna think when you finally get to watch it, because I think it's a fun and entertaining movie. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to hear good stuff about it, and to hear that it's a good sequel. That's huge, because we know, like, there's been some sequels in the Disney realm which they're just like, why did this happen? This doesn't make no, like, we didn't need this. So to kind of hear it does well, and I'm okay that it's cringy. I mean, I like when it like plays fun on each other and stuff. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to see it. I just wish I had a little bit more time, but I'll definitely get a chance to like sit down and actually watch it. So
yeah. And I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's on Disney Plus. So
yeah.
True that. All right. Well, there's a couple other things that we wanted to touch on before we wrap up today's episode. But before we do, I do want to take a moment to remind you that this episode of Podketeers is brought to you by a fantastic group of listeners known as the FGP Squad, our podcast Fairy Godparents, because it is their support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. If you want more information on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, head on over to podketeers.com/FGP for more information. There you will find a list of some of our top contributors, a little info on the FGP Squad, a link to our Patreon. And being a part of the FGP Squad family just gets you some additional perks, like access to our happy hour calls, access to additional content that we've uploaded to our Patreon, random giveaways, discount codes on Podketeers gear, access to a special section on our Discord, and more. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. FGP Squad, we have a date for our next call, so mark it on your calendars. We hope that you can join us. We are scheduling our next happy hour call for December 10th. So we hope to see you there. We know we didn't have an opportunity to do one this month, and we're looking forward to hanging out with everyone. And so more info will be coming on that. We'll post it on Discord. We'll post it on Instagram. We'll remind you, obviously, as we're getting closer to the date, but mark it on your calendars. December 10th, we're going back to happy hour. And of course, as always, we always appreciate everything that the FGP Squad does for us. So we just want to send a huge thank you to all of them for their continued support.
Oh, and look at what's right here next to me. The big old wheel. It's the big wheel. Everybody, here we go. We're going to spin the wheel. Flap, 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 flap.
Come on, big money. Come on, big money.
Flap, flap,
one
flap.
penny.
Big
One
money
penny.
Today is Will. Hey, Will. Woohoo. Thanks for being an FGP Squad member, Will. Much appreciated. Will, I am very grateful that you are part of the FGP. Will, my man, thank you. You're so cool. I don't know. I'm running out of things. I don't want to like a cool cat and a kitten. Will's cool. I was trying to think of like Will puns, more Will puns. Will you do us the favor of continuing to support us? I sure hope you will. I'm sure I have when I was in elementary school, I had a friend named Will, and he would get all the jokes with like Will this and Will that. So I'm sure Will has suffered through those enough. So I will just cut this short and say thank you, Will.
Where there's a will, there's a Podketeers podcast.
Where there's a Will, there's a cool person, and his name is Will.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Will. Thank you to, of course, all of the members of the FGP Squad. So, a couple other things that we wanted to talk about, or I wanted to throw out before we wrap up today's episode. Briefly, before we talk about anything else, since we were on Disney Plus, we were talking about what was on there. There's a ton of new Christmas content. Like, there's holiday content just dropping over, and like every week they have a couple new things on Disney Plus. From what we were looking at earlier, it looks like some of the newest things that have dropped in the last couple of weeks are the Santa Clauses, Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. There's an upcoming animated, like a 3D animated movie called Mickey Saves Christmas.
No, that's hold on. That Mickey, I don't want to interrupt your list, but that Mickey thing, that's not 3D. Because it was on the ABC, I think, but that's like a stop motion, like special. It's not like a
stop
CG or
motion.
anything. It's like like Rankin Bass,
Frosty,
like not Frosty the Snowman. Well, Frosty and Snowman was Rankin Bass, but the Year Without a Santa Claus, Rudolph. It's in the vein of those. So it's
Yo, what?
Like a return to form kind of thing. Yeah,
I love that. I thought it was 3D animated. I didn't know. Like, even when they announced it for ABC, I thought it was 3D animated.
This kind of is like snuck on to like the radar. Like, it kind of just happened, and there was, as far as I'm concerned, and I seem to have a finger on the pulse of most announcements. It just kind of like happened. Like, they're like, here's the thing. It comes out in a week, and then it came out, and now it's on Disney Plus. So I don't know like when it was announced and all this stuff, but it seemed to sneak up on me at least.
Now I'm even more excited about this one, actually. Now that I know it's stop motion, I know how much work goes into stop motion stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's insane.
I'm so excited.
But anyway,
cool.
You said there's other stuff on that list. I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No. I mean, that's great. I love that. That was fantastic. So we have Mickey Saves Christmas. This actually just aired, I think, the over the Thanksgiving holiday. It was the Wonderful World of Disney Magical Holiday Celebration across 2 parks on both coasts, originally on ABC, but now on Disney Plus for your viewing pleasure. Shortest title that they have on Disney Plus. A spectacular event, magical, yeah.
TM.
So that's on Disney Plus now. Something I did not expect to see, by the way. The Hip Hop Nutcracker with Rev Run from Run DMC.
Wow.
And then Best in Snow. Yeah.
Best in Snow looks fun. That's like a snow carving thing with Titus Burgess. But he's like playing a character. He's the host. If you've watched Kimmy Schmidt, he's Titus on Kimmy Schmidt. If people don't know who he is, and he's the host, but he's playing like some character. I forget his name. We've watched one episode or like 3/4 of an episode, but he's very silly on it, and it looks fun.
Right on. So I've only had an opportunity to dive into the Santa Clauses. Like, we've seen a few episodes of that so far, but like, what do you think of us going through the majority of this new Christmas content, and then we dedicate an episode, like a couple episodes from now, to just talk about all the Christmas stuff that's on Disney Plus?
Sounds good to me.
Fun homework.
Right.
Yeah. I'll suggest, we'll give our thoughts, and hopefully people will, if they hadn't seen them already, give them a good idea of what these are, so they can dig into them before Christmas, right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And you know what we'll do? Because we're actually just planning this one a couple weeks in advance, what we can do is we can post the list of things we'll be talking about in that episode, and then get feedback from people on Discord, and we'll share it on that episode, to see how people are feeling about it, what they like, what they didn't like. And
now we just have to remember
I think
to
it'll
do
be fun.
that.
Oh, I'm sure somebody will remind me. I'm sure somebody will remind. And I'm thankful for that because, listen, remembering stuff this last year has been one of the hardest things for me. And so
Let's
the
just
fact
assign
that
it to somebody.
so the fact that people remind me to do this, or they post about it, I'm so thankful that somebody does that. So
Brian,
yeah, we'll post it on
remind
Discord.
Heyzen to post it on Discord, okay? When you hear
He
this,
will.
okay?
So Brian,
I've
thank you so
assigned
much for the
you,
reminders. So we'll post that. We'll post the episodes or the shows that we'll watch, and then that way we can have a discussion on Discord. We can bring it over to the podcast. We can have some of the comments. It'll be great. Let's see. Oh, hey, Disney Dreamlight Valley. I haven't played in the last few days. I've been okay. So, couple things here. One, if you're on a Mac and you've been wanting to play, December 6th is your date because Disney Dreamlight Valley is finally coming to the Apple App Store. I don't know if it's going to run on like an iPad or anything like that. Although I do think that if you have like an iPad Pro, it might be beefy enough to run it. I think it's got like a Mac Mini chip in it, so it should actually haul it. But I don't know if it's gonna
It just barely runs on a Switch, so I think that the iPad Pro should handle it just fine.
Yeah. Sadly, yes, I believe you. So Apple App Store, December 6th, Disney Dreamlight Valley's coming. We have a Toy Story update coming very soon as well. So if you've been stuck, I think that's kind of where I was. Like, I got to a point where I finished all of the tasks, all of the quests, all of the like storyline elements, and I was purposely holding off on like one piece because I was waiting to be able to record it, and then I accidentally like got half of it done without recording it. So now I'm like on the final piece of it. But the other thing that I started doing was, y'all know that I love to farm pumpkins.
Yeah.
And
Pumpkin
my
fiend
original
over here.
Yep.
Yeah, my original idea, and I think I'll just share it now because, okay, so here, let me tell you what was going to happen first. So one, I had this idea of farming several rooms worth of pumpkins because, you can fit about 100 chests inside of a room if you expand it to like its largest, like if you expand your house, right? And in each one of those chests, you can have 16 slots. And of those 16 slots, you can have 50 pumpkins in each slot. So you had a good like 80,000 pumpkins in every room, just under 100,000 pumpkins in every room. And so I didn't really want to calculate how much that was going to be if I sold like an entire room's worth of like coins. And my goal was to try to hit like the highest number that I could in Disney Dreamlight Valley if I had like a room full of pumpkins. Mm-hmm. And then because I kept playing, but I wasn't really recording because I, just like my schedule wasn't permitting. So I was kind of like squeezing in farming the pumpkins. Like I would literally just log on to like water them or farm, like harvest them and then plant new ones like every few hours, right? Mm-hmm. Like on my lunch break, on my regular breaks, after work, like 3:00 in the morning, like insane hours. But then I farmed an entire room of pumpkins. And so I had it and I thought, okay, well, now's the time to record this video. But then I farmed again and I thought, oh, well, now I have all these additional pumpkins. All right, well, I'll just start another room for now until I can record and get all these pumpkins sold. Well, I didn't record, and now I have 2 rooms full of pumpkins in 100 chests. So I have a lot of pumpkins that I can sell. And if you know the price of pumpkins, it's quite a bit of money.
Oh,
or
it's
quite
beautiful.
a bit of star coins that you're going to get with that, right?
Yep.
But then I thought to myself, wait a second. Some of the meals actually sell for a lot more than just the cost of the food item itself. And so I figured out that pumpkin puffs I believe, is the best way to go because it is the least ingredients. So buying things like the eggs and the milk and stuff like that will offset my profit a little bit, but I could still make quite a bit more because I think you get like 644 star coins for one pumpkin, but for the
Whoa.
puffs you get like 1,200 coins.
Oh, jeez.
And so
Start cooking.
So now my goal is to take 2 rooms worth of pumpkins and make however many pumpkin puffs I can and then sell all of those. Insane?
So wait.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's 50 chests in a room. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. No,
Okay,
there's
and
100
then-
chests in a room.
Oh, so you have 200 chests of pumpkins.
Correct.
I have a calculator out.
and so
you
each
can fit
chest
16 slots
16 slots, and each slot of
Okay.
those holds 50 pumpkins.
and then 50 pumpkins. Okay. That's
And I
160,000 pumpkins.
Yes, and I believe each one of those pumpkins on their own would sell for 644 star coins apiece.
Okay, 103 million star coins.
Right. Now,
So,
if
but if the
let's
pumpkin puffs,
suppose I was
Okay.
able to do all the pumpkin puffs,
you're
which
never
sell
gonna
for,
be able
I don't
to-
know, 1,200 maybe?
192 million coins.
So here's
Wow.
what I'm concerned with. I really think I'm going to break the game.
That's what I was wondering. Because the game crashes very, a lot.
Oh, it crashes with just 1,000 pumpkins that I try to mess around with on a daily basis. And granted, this is every day that I farm, I'll take a part of the profits of the pumpkins and I'll empty out Scrooge's shop. Right? Well, I
Yeah.
stopped emptying out the shop. I stopped buying the things that I saw all of the time because there's always
That
this
weird
mermaid
dress
and
and that
table.
lamp.
And there's the lamp, the mermaid end table, the modeling thing that they have,
yeah,
the
it's like
dress
it's like
thing.
a dress form with a dress on it.
Yeah. That thing's always there. There's a tree that looks like it's got colored mushrooms on it that's always
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah.
And Elsa's bed, I feel comes up a lot as
Mhm.
well. So because of that, I stopped buying all the stuff that I already had 12 of because I wasn't paying attention to it as much before. I'm still hoping that one day they enable sending stuff to friends because I'm just gonna have a field day sending stuff to people at that point.
That's the next
Um,
feature.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So has it been insane playing Disney Dreamlight Valley? Yeah. I've invested a lot of hours, more than I'm inclined to say out loud. But I feel like I've gotten this far with the pumpkins, and doing the pumpkin puffs is kind of should I do it?
Yes.
I'm afraid of breaking the game, but should
Okay,
I
so-
attempt it?
So I've done this math. I've Googled all of the prices. So pumpkin puffs sell for 14.89 star coins.
Okay.
And eggs cost 220 and cheese costs 180. So you'd be at it would be 1,089 coins. What is profit after your investment of cheese and egg?
Nice.
That's
So
not bad compared to the
Nope.
644.
Yep. That's almost double.
Yeah. I don't know.
yes.
I mean, the cooking part is really the most tedious at this point, right? Because
Right.
having to load up the ingredients every time and going through the stupid animations, I wish you could just say cook 1,000 and then it just made
Yes.
1,000 for you.
Make as much as I have enough for.
Right.
Yeah, that would be a great feature. But the fact that you make one and then it goes through the little animation and it shows
You
you
just
what
press
you made
B
and
so you
everything.
could pass it.
Ugh. Ugh. I know. I'm complaining over nothing, right? But still, ugh. So anyway,
I would,
Or just sell your pumpkins and then be done with it.
but it's
or-
almost
do that.
double though.
Yeah, but you're getting greedy now, Hazen. What are you going to
But
do? You clear out Scrooge's store every day.
I
You
don't
could
know. Like I
sell all
feel
your
like it's the
pumpkins and
thrill
never
of the
have to
chase at this point for me. There's no other things to do in the game right now.
Hi,
Okay,
my
so
name is
I know we
Hazen,
got
and
Toy
I'm
Story
addicted
coming.
to pumpkins.
Listen, I kind of am, but until Toy Story drops, until the next one, which I
Mhm.
like, until that new stuff comes, like, there's nothing else to do in the game, right?
This is true.
So why not do something that like there's a goal to it now, right? And it's not just like I was able to farm for a day and I went from level 1 to level 10 with whoever I happen to be like harvesting with, right? It's like this
Mhm.
is it's taken me weeks to do this, like weeks to farm this many pumpkins. And I don't know how long it's going to take for me to cook that many pumpkin puffs. But guess what? I'm probably not going to stop harvesting and farming pumpkins while I'm making all these puffs. So who knows where I'm going to stop?
just as long as you have your screen onto, what is it, settings? Is it settings at the very end? Yeah. Settings. And then have that yellow tab all the way down to save game, so that every time you cook, save game.
Oh, I know.
Do that,
Oh,
save
you're
game.
not
Just
kidding.
keep going.
You are not kidding. Listen, I am actually, like, I've thought about this, right? Because it crashes so much. I've been in the middle of harvesting pumpkins, and I've gotten through, like, 500, and then all of a sudden the game crashes. And harvesting
yeah.
that many pumpkins is
Same
a
here.
good, like, 40 minutes, right? It's not like 5 or 10 minutes of your time. So
Well, with the amount of pumpkins you farm.
well, I mean, look, I have a goal in mind, okay?
I
But-
know. I'm just.
Maybe we could make
So,
a compilation.
I have
of all the
wanna be the
198
pumpkin
pump-
king, damn it! I want to be the pumpkin king.
Okay.
So I'm actually considering purchasing the PC version to do all of the cooking on the PC, where I know it's a lot more stable than it is on the Switch. Like do a cloud sync or something. But I've also heard horror stories of people doing cloud sync and then losing their game entirely. So,
Ooh.
you know, I'm kind of
Pick
like,
your battles.
right? So I don't know. I'll keep you posted. I'm really the only one that's amused by this right now, and really the only one that's like, oh my god, like how far can this go? I think other people are gonna listen to this and think like, you are wasting your time, sir. But while I'm sitting down relaxing, like on the days that I was like laid out, you know, like that's what I did when I woke up. Like I played for hours at a time, just resting and, you know, recuperating, and like that's kind of where this mess all started. So I don't know. I don't know what my goal is, other than like probably making as many star coins at once. Because it's not going to be an easy task, right? There's all the cooking, and then on top of that, there's all the selling, because you can only sell whatever's in like your main inventory when you go back to Goofy. So I don't know. I wonder if
It'll
I could do
be
it by
an
the end of the year. How many weeks do we have left in the year? About 4?
Not enough.
4 weeks?
Yeah,
Do you think I can do it in 4 weeks?
5.
Ish.
Let's see if you count.
5-ish?
1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
If you count the week we're in, 5. But if you don't count the week we're in,
I don't.
4. 4.5.
All right. Well, listen, I am man,
To cook
I'm afraid now.
160,000 pumpkin puffs.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll get one of my kids to do it. I'll pay them for each one that they do for me. We'll see. I'll figure something
You
out.
better not pay him per one. You better pay him per.
You know what I can do? I wonder if I did get the PC version, I wonder if I could set up a macro to click and load and just get through them while I'm doing something else.
That's above my pay grade, but Maybe.
I don't know. I'd be afraid to mess with the game, and then they're like, "Oh, there's a bot," and they'll just like ban or
Okay.
something. I don't
Oh,
know.
it might
Too
think
many
that,
games.
huh? It
Yeah.
might think that. All right, to be continued. I'll keep you
Okay.
posted. I'll see where this goes, but
Pumpkin
new
Heyzen
content is
will
coming.
return.
So new content is coming. We got Toy Story coming. Has either one of you gotten the golden potato yet?
I don't know what that is.
No, I
Oh,
want
you don't know about
this
the golden potato?
potato.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
know.
So Disney Dreamlight Valley, they got a Twitter. They got, they're, on social media. They ended up posting a couple of images. One of the promo
Mhm.
images that they posted had what looked like a code that you could redeem inside of the game. And so some people thought, you know what? Why don't we try this? And so I saw this on Reddit. Somebody tried the code, and it does. For some reason, it doesn't immediately work for everybody. Like some people have to try it up to 10 times before it happens. But if you redeem the code that I will give you, and I will also post on Discord, you get a golden potato as an item.
Just so like it's just a golden potato.
Just a golden potato. Now, it looks like this golden potato might be part of an upcoming quest. So it might have dropped like as a teaser for something that's coming, and they were hoping, because finally this is like 3 or 4 days later, the Dreamlight Valley account finally posted something on Twitter that said some eagle-eyed sleuths finally saw this code, and they redeemed it, and so some of you might already have this like new item, more to come. So people are excited because this was just kind of a random drop, right? Nobody was expecting it. The code, I will post it on Discord, but it is GPOT-OATO-LDFS-ENNM. Again, I'll post it on Discord in case you missed it. I'm not going to repeat it. It's way too long. When you try to redeem it in your help section, you may have to just try to redeem it up to 10 times. Some people are getting it within the first couple of tries. Some people have to do it all 10. But when you finally redeem it, you'll have your golden potato. The account on Twitter also posted a fairly cryptic tweet. They posted a clock, an arrow, a map, and a rocket, and then the date 11/30/2022. So the day that this episode drops, we're getting something new from Disney Dreamlight Valley. What is it? I don't know. Some people are speculating.
What were the images again?
A compass or a clock.
Okay.
I want to say that it's a compass. So it's a compass, an arrow pointing down, a map, and a rocket.
Jack Sparrow. I'm just kidding.
But it's a rocket flying to the moon. So somebody was like, it's Treasure Planet. I'm like, yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm trying to see if that's just related to Toy Story at all, because the rocket could be Buzz, but the rest of it, it's kind of, I don't know.
But the compass, the arrow, and the map, couldn't that be like Neverland?
That's what I was thinking too, if they had a star. Yeah.
I mean,
maybe.
the rocket has little stars around it.
Dreamlight Valley tweet.
I'm surprised that we don't have Peter Pan yet. So, who knows?
Well, I mean, so we don't have Peter Pan yet, but we do have Skull Rock.
We do.
Over on
You're right.
Dazzle Beach.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be next.
So it's a compass. It's not a clock. So I'm looking at it. It's definitely a compass. So compass down, map, rocket. Rocket Man. Elton John's coming to
I knew it.
Dreamlight Valley.
It. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it,
Confirmed.
but I knew it. It's Elton John. He went from Dodger Stadium to Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Hey.
It's funny. So anyway, that's what's coming. I'm excited because we haven't had much to do in the game, and I know some people are like, there's nothing else to do, but I will admit that aside from the glitches in the game when I have like nothing else to do and I'm just kind of farming. It is very reminiscent of Animal Crossing, and so just kind of sitting there and listening. The only sound, scratch that. There's two things that I could do without in the game, and that is Donald blowing his top all of the time
Thank you.
because he sounds like a freight
Thank you.
train. And the other thing is Maui just appearing out of nowhere and just being like, bro, really, just stop, just move on with your day, just move on. Like if I could get those two, like if I could filter them out and just be like, filter these characters or like confine them to their homes, like I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, or even just take those like animations away or quiet them. They did adjust after we talked about it, the thunder and lightning and everything in that update was not as bad. So they are changing stuff that, if it's annoying enough people, it might be able to be changed.
True that. All right, well, I guess we'll see. Well, I guess by the time this episode releases, then we'll know what that tweet was about. So we could talk about it on Discord, but we'll talk about it next week and see what it was. And we got new content coming, and then I'll keep everyone posted on what's happening in the Pumpkin Kingdom. Because we do have that big old pumpkin house also in the Forgotten Lands, which we still don't have an answer for. But we'll see.
I live there now.
Okay, so before we end the episode, I wanted to bring up, obviously, big news last week when Bob Iger returned as the CEO of the Disney company in one of the craziest transitions ever. Bob Chapek was ousted on a Sunday, and then Bob Iger just kind of rolled back in on a Monday. So that cast some crazy waves around the world, obviously with stock prices and with cast member feelings and with investors and everyone, right? Because it's big news the way that it happened. But Bob Iger has been making some changes. He recently had a meeting with cast members. And the meeting was meant to be private. It wasn't like a public forum or anything, but some of the information from that meeting leaked out into the public. One of the rumors that he spoke about in this meeting with the cast members was the rumor that's been going around recently about Apple purchasing the Disney company. This is not a new rumor. This is something that actually surfaced several years ago. And I believe at the time, because Bob Iger was getting ready to leave the position, everybody was speculating that one of his last hurrahs was going to be that he was going to sell the Disney company, right? So it's not anything new. But he said that it was pure speculation. Who knows? Maybe one day the Disney company will be sold to Apple. I don't know if there's like weird laws that they'd be breaking, or if is it the FCC that what's the regulating? Yeah, the FCC is what regulates these big mergers, right? I don't know if the FCC would allow a merger this large. And I think that the speculation of that came when Bob Iger was originally trying to figure out how long he was going to...
FTC.
The FTC, right? FTC.
The Federal Trade Commission. I knew it sounded funky. I just wanted to... I looked it up. I was like, wait a minute. But anyway.
Thank you for that. Thank you. So the FTC, yeah. So the original rumor, I believe, started to really surface when Bob Iger was thinking about leaving, and there wasn't a successor plan, right? Like there was Tom Staggs had already left the company. Josh D'Amaro had come up, but they didn't really know if he was going to take over. And because of that, like I want to say some pretty big financial analysts were saying, well, the next big move should be that Disney buys, or Apple buys Disney, because Tim Cook is a really great CEO. They already have a great relationship with the Apple company. So maybe this is where it's going. Well, he squashed that for now, but I don't know. Maybe one day. Who knows? I hope it never happens. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if
he
you look
also,
at it too, like Disney is worth somewhere upwards of $170 billion. And Apple does have, around 50 billion cash in hand at this point, but that's, they're still worlds away on cash. They could, do different, they invests in blah blah blah, but that's a lot of money to buy just another humongous company.
Yeah.
And I don't think the FTC would allow that to happen. You never know with some of this stuff, but it seems very unlikely to me, especially since this rumor has been going around for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. He talked about the restructuring of the company. And this was something that we already knew, right? Getting rid of some of the people that Bob Chapek had put in place for the media and entertainment group that he had put together. Some of those people are gone. So there was already talks of when he first came in a week ago, talks about him reorganizing that, to structure it more the way that he had it before. Let's see. They're still not going to be hiring new people. He mentioned that they were going to reassess the cost structure of the company before they made any more decisions. So they're still not going to be hiring more cast members, which I think is still going to impact the parks. There's been an increase in park guests, but we still don't have a lot of cast members to support that. You talked about your recent trip, Andrew, and a lot of the animatronics that weren't working and some things just didn't look like they were being kept well. So that's going to continue to be the case, I think, until they figure out what this cost structure, is going to mean. Streaming services were talked about. Disney Plus was also one of the topics that, they're going to be concentrating a lot on getting new subscribers because they want to make the service profitable. This is, something that's always been the goal. We knew that going in that they had a buffer built in because they knew that going in they weren't going to immediately make money. So that's going to be a really big thing that he concentrates on. Really, I think the main thing that he's going to concentrate on during his new tenure with the company. He talked about how he wants people to return to work in their offices. Like, he doesn't want work from home. He wants people to return because he feels that it's better for collaboration, that people work together better, and that it's more creative when you're in person together. There's a part of me that doesn't fully believe that. I've had an opportunity to work with people over Zoom, and I've had the opportunity to work with several creatives on some projects where I don't think it would have made a difference if we were in person or not. Like, it turned out well. It has to do with the people and how they work together, not whether you're in the same room. But that's my opinion. I don't know how you feel about that.
That seems to be the big push right now is we're getting back to the office and back to the thing. And it seems to be a lot of people are saying getting back to the office. And it seems to be a lot of the older generation thinking of, well, you got to be in the office. We pay rent for this building, so you better come here and whatever. Now, I can see the point of collaboration and stuff like that. Being in the room is, I'm in a creative, somewhat creative field, and I do find that, especially when like different ideas and things like that do come differently on Zoom than they do come on in person. But most things, unless you're, I think it all is dependent on what your field is and what you're doing, and there's a lot of different factors. So I don't think that it should be a blanket term, like blanket thing for every position that has ever existed, because there have been plenty of studies out there that say people are more efficient and are happier and get more done working from home than they do at the office. There's plenty of studies out there. I mean, I can't work from home because I have to build a thing that people come and see. So kind of hard for me to do. But a lot of people, can work from home and be as productive, if not more productive, than they would be at an office and be happier just generally.
Yeah, working from home pretty much has given, like, I've seen people actually be more creative because they're not under the stress of being in the office.
Hmm.
So I don't know if having to go back to the office really does help. I hope he does. I hope Bob understands and maybe does a little bit of give and take and maybe suggest like a certain time. But, I think he should allow everyone to just work from home. I mean, why not? If we're going to get the same product, then hey, I mean, if it produces the same thing, if it ain't broke, I mean, why you got to fix it? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what I
I think
think.
people don't realize how old Bob Iger is, I think,
Very.
at some point. He's in his 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been around a long time, and I don't think I even realized how old he was when they came back. He was like, "Oh yeah, 70 whatever year old Bob Iger." I was like, "Oh, he's very old." So there's just a lot of, mentality when it comes to work and office and yada 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 that has been ingrained in our society for so long that it's kind of like, well, that's how we've always done
Yeah.
it. So
I agree.
why shouldn't we should do it like that? We always did it like that. I'm like, well, other ways are good too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I'm definitely one of the people that falls into that category of, working from home. I think works better. I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to work from home, but not sitting in traffic. You know, the, there's extra time that I can spend with my kids.
Hmm.
There's the wear and tear on my car is a lot less than it was before. Gas. We're not buying as much gas as we used to. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't have to get up as early as I used to. And I believe it or not, I because we've been home, like I eat way healthier than I used to
Hmm.
because like fast food was usually the easiest thing to get when you were out on your lunch break because you had a set amount of time where you had to go and quickly get your stuff and then come back and then scarf it down real quick, and usually fast food was the easiest. But when you're at home, you can plan out your meals a lot easier. You can eat them when they're nice and hot. You take your lunch break, you spend 5, 10, 15 minutes making your meal, and you still have the rest of your lunch break to just kind of hang out and eat. So there's a lot of
Hmm.
benefits to it. And like you said,
Oh
that
yeah.
that mentality of this is how we've always done it, is it's not always to the benefit of people. So like you said, Mel, I hope there is a little give and take on that one. Let's see. He also touched on the bill in Florida, where there was the whole beef with Florida's governor. He did touch on LGBTQ plus, and I think the quote that a lot of people were reposting from that is he said, "One of the core values of our storytelling is inclusion and acceptance and tolerance, and we cannot lose that." I agree. I think there's a lot of, regardless of what you hear, I think the Disney company has done better in representation. I think that it was something that maybe should have happened a long time ago, but the fact that it's happening is great, right? Like little by little, you see it changing and you see them including a lot more. So that's a plus. And
Yeah.
the fact that he's just kind of finally saying, like, yes, we're gonna continue to do this. Like, this is part of our audience and we're not gonna exclude them. That's great. I'm glad that he just straight out said it. I know there's been a lot of, I don't want to say flip-flopping on it, but a lot of vagueness around, how that was treated. Like that entire thing that happened in Florida, there was a lot of vagueness within the company. So and the last thing that he talked about was the reservation system. We speculated that he wasn't going to get rid of it, that if anything, he was going to just kind of tweak it a little bit. There's been a lot of like clickbaity articles, saying like Bob Iger was shocked at the prices, set for tickets and for this and this, and with Genie Plus and everything, right? Yeah, because it's expensive. If those articles are true, yeah, it's because they're very high. But he did mention that he was going to talk to Josh D'Amaro about the reservation system since he's in charge of all of the parks. And I think I'm going to stick to what I said. I don't think they're going to get rid of it. I think they're just going to modify it in a way that feels more in tune with what we were used to before.
Mm-hmm.
But like they benefit a lot from having the reservation system because they can use it for staffing. I don't think they've used it for staffing effectively as of now, but it has the potential of being used for staffing, and
Well, like Larry said last week, it was so they could understaff things. Is how they've been. It seems to be using it, not to make sure it's staffed enough. It's to staff as little as possible.
Right. And sadly, I want to be optimistic about it, which is why I said,
Yeah.
But I mean, he's right. Sadly, that's how it looks, and that's how it looks like it's being treated. But I mean, Bob Iger doesn't have a very easy task, right? I think the biggest thing that's coming out of this is the fact that, there was an article posted on Discord that I think we'll talk about next week. I don't think, I'm not sure if either one of you had an opportunity to read this, but FGP Squad member Anita posted a Time article with Abigail Disney. They interviewed her about, Bob Iger coming back and everything. Did either of you read that yet?
Not
I've only seen
all of it.
I've only seen parts of it. Yeah, I haven't had a chance.
Well, once you read it, we'll talk about it a little bit more. But just to touch on that, and only because it's related to this, is, she made a lot of points that I've talked about with people, and when I said them, they're like, it's very conspiracy theorist, and that's not what's happening. And one of the things that I mentioned, and I kind of said it begrudgingly because I thought, like, man, like Bob Iger, I don't know if he would do this on purpose, right? But he left the company so quickly that it felt like something was wrong, right? And at the time, there was two things that were kind of floating around. Something's like super wrong with him, like health-wise, or he's getting out because he's going to jump into a presidential campaign run. And I thought, okay, like the way that he's leaving, like, seems like it's a political thing, or there's like some heavy health issues with him. At least that's what I thought, right? And neither one of those turned out to be true. But what we did know at the time was that the pandemic was raging across China. And the pandemic was making its way into other countries. And it was really like right in line with when he left the company. So the speculation that some people have is that he left the company because he knew of all the difficulties and he didn't want that like bad mark on his permanent record sort of situation. And so, like I said, I admire Bob Iger. I've read his book and everything, and I've learned a lot about him through reading that. And, the way that he did a lot of the things that he did, not everything, but a lot of the things that he did, I admire, because not a lot of other CEOs have ever done something like that. But like I said in our last episode, there's things that Bob Iger did that I just don't agree with. Like thinking back on the entire situation, I would love for you to read it, and we'll talk about it a little bit more next week. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'll leave that, right? But the optimistic side of me is that is telling me that Bob Iger is coming to rectify a situation that I don't think anybody saw coming, right? And so now he's back at the helm. I think it's going to be hard for him to get it back to like 2019 Disney. And I think that's what people are hoping. And if you're hoping that, to be clear, I don't think we're going to get that. So I think we need to temper our expectations, because it's not going to be 2019 Disney again. It's going to be 2023 Disney with a 2019 twist, right? So I think if we all understand that the company has been trying so hard to help Disney Plus not completely sink using the parks, that now that park revenue has started to drop, Bob Iger has to figure out, like, how do we fix both of these now? Because we've always said that if there's a problem with the parks, the best way is to speak with your wallet. Don't buy the product, don't do it, and they will change, right? But we would always follow that up with, but there's always people that will pay, right? Mm-hmm. But there was enough people that finally didn't, where the parks are now beginning to suffer because of all the cuts and, the service and how they've been maintaining the attractions, all that stuff, that now Bob Iger has a bigger thing to fix. Like, now he doesn't have Disney Plus to fix now. He doesn't only have Disney Plus to fix now. Now he's got Disney Plus and the parks that he's got to fix,
and public perception and lots of things. Like it's lots of it's an uphill
on
battle.
top of finding a successor, a proper one.
Like that'll ever happen.
I don't think we're ever going to get somebody that's going to be a Bob Iger again. I'm sticking to what we talked about last week, man. I think it's time for the Disney company to go back to two people running stuff for a while, where you have like the business-sided person and you have the creative-sided person, and they kind of play off of each other. But
let's just bring back 80-whatever-year-old Michael
Boom!
Eisner.
He'll do it. I'm sure he's chomping at the bit to do it. But look, I mean, overall, I really am optimistic that Bob Iger is going to make sufficient changes where it's going to feel a lot more magical. Maybe not like, it's not going to be like next week. It's going to be like, boom, like it's fixed, right? But over time, probably in a couple of years, a year or two going into it, I think we're going to begin to feel like, okay, it's Disneyland again, right? Like, this is the Disney company. And I say Disneyland because that's our closest park. But, I mean, do you think that in the next couple of years, like, we'll start seeing the same thing? Or, like, what is your time estimate for when you think we're going to start to see some changes that are really going to impact how we feel going to the parks?
2+ years. It won't be 2.
I mean, it's really hard to speculate, but it's also hard to like enact changes that because of how much Chapek has changed the company, like internally, that there's a lot of just reorganizing, restructuring that's going to take a lot of the time just to fix that before I think even some of the stuff can happen. I'm hopeful that within a year or so we'll see some light at the end of the tunnel of, some glimmer of hope of, something small, whatever that may be, I don't know. But it's hard to say. Like you said, 2019, 2015, Disney is not coming back. We might get some semblance of it, but the world is a different place, and the company has weathered a storm just like everyone else has, and has changed for what, not necessarily for the better, but has changed because it had to. And so nothing will be the same, but hopefully, like you said, we'll have some semblance of that Disney of the past that we were all so accustomed to. So to answer your quick question in a very long and then short form, hopefully I give it a year to get some sort of hopeful change, and then more close to Melissa's thing for something major.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to say that I think it already does begin, like it already is kind of feeling a little more magical, just like morale-wise. I'm surprised that, I mean, I don't know if people posted this. Is there an equivalent of Ding Dong the Witch is Dead, but for Disney?
Well, it's going to take me a minute.
I don't think there is, right? Like nothing with that happiness for like something that just happened that bad. Like I'm having trouble.
The only thing
Like
I could think of is it's not about a witch, but when Jack returns and everyone celebrates that he's back and he's like not dead and whatnot, that's what I'm gonna say. That's...
I thought of the end of Captain EO when
Oh, that's a good one.
when they like turn her nice again or whatever. But yeah, the Ding Dong the Witch is Dead is kind of like a really poignant piece of music there from the Wizard of Oz that I think I'm going to be racking my brain for like a week to see if I can come up with something that is akin to that.
All right. Well, I want to throw the question out there to see if anybody maybe has something in mind or something pops into mind while you think about it for the next week. Because really, I was surprised. I hate to say it, but I feel like that was the instant reaction that we got when we got the original news. Like, I was honestly expecting like videos on TikTok or Instagram of people in line for Haunted Mansion Holiday or something, just like raising their phone up in the air and be like, Bob Chapek's gone, and everybody like going into song and dance and singing like Ding Dong the Witch is Dead or something. I don't know, like if there's a Disney version of that, let me know. And if there's any videos like that, send them to me. I thought it would be comical, but nobody did it. Like, everybody seemingly react the way that you did, Andrew, when you got the news when you were in the bathroom. And then, like, you walked out, it's like, oh, hey, wow, that happened. Crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
All right, now let me wait for fireworks some more.
It's like the one time I feel like it was good to have the drama, like, nobody put it out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you come up with a song that you think would fit that narrative, write it. And share it over on Discord. We'd love to hear what it is. And if I can think of one, I guess we'll give ourselves the homework as well, right? If we can think of one, we'll talk about it next week. But yeah, so Bob Iger, lots of work to do, but I'm optimistic. I'm glad that he's kind of maneuvering the ship again, because he's the most experienced with it after retiring 384.2 times. And coming back to keep running the company, it's going to be good. So, anything else that you guys want to add before we wrap up today?
There'll be a Quizneyland this week.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that's again. I've been real behind because of the holiday and stuff. So I've got the ideas for the questions. I've got to record them tomorrow, and there will be an episode.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, also don't forget to check out Larry's thing. I know he's not here on this episode, but check out Larry's Goofy Guy Adventure streams. He's always streaming from Disneyland and stuff.
Yeah.
So make sure you check those out too.
Those are fun.
He's having a good old fun time on there.
Yeah. All right, that is it. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep moving forward, and always remember to pass on the magic. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
Bye.
See ya. Ding dong, the witch is dead. The be no witch, the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead.
Part of the Podketeers Network.